Hey guys, we're on our way to New Jersey for the Atlantic City Celebrity Convention. We're super excited, stuck in traffic. Ugh.
Yeah, traffic has not been very fun for us today.
No.
We're very excited to put some videos together for you guys so you can see what it's like at this celebrity convention. Very, very excited to meet some of the people that we're going to meet and do some of the things we're going to do. Thank you guys for watching. Can't wait to show you.
See you guys.
What is up, guys? We are officially here. Table is getting set up right now. Very, very excited.
Today's day one. Yeah, no one's here yet, so we're here super early and
this is our view for the weekend. That is our
really
view.
awesome.
This is beautiful. Hopefully we get to meet some of you guys here. Let's see who all we get to meet right now. What's going on, guys? So we are here with the amazing Jose Torres. Jose, can you tell people a little bit about you and what you're doing here at the con?
Yeah, absolutely. This is my first time at the con. I'm actually promoting my new movie that came out, Killer X. It's on Amazon right now, and we're here to promote it. It's a new action film, part of the action genre with martial arts. So we're really excited to be here today to promote and obviously talk to you guys.
Right, and you said this is available now on Amazon Prime?
It is, yeah. Actually, Amazon DVD pre-purchase. So August 6th, it actually drops. We've been doing really good because we actually just broke the top 10 yesterday for sale. So which is pretty cool for us, being a smaller film. But you can go hop on Amazon right now, type in Killer X DVD, and it'll pop right up, and you'll be able to purchase it.
And that is how you support indie movies. So we always talk about indie horror, but indie film in general is the way to go. Now, what we like to do on the podcast is talk to people about their first horror movie, Jose. So can you tell us a little bit about the first horror movie you watched?
It was a very traumatic experience that has totally shaped me who I am a person today. So apparently my young parents at the time thought it was okay to take a 6-year-old to go see Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't think I've been the same since then, but anytime I see a van, anytime I hear a chainsaw, it's like nightmares for me. So that is true. I'm telling a true story.
Dude, I totally believe it. So maybe that's what got you into martial arts, was the fact you got to defend yourself against Leatherface someday.
I think, Leatherface used to chase me from between I was 6 years old till probably 11. And then at that point, I started doing okay. I started winning at that point. So you know what? Maybe we need to do a horror film where I get to beat up Leatherface.
There you
There
go.
we go. There we
There
go.
you go. You get all those traumatic experiences out of there, man. So make sure you guys are checking out the film. You know where to find it. Jose, thank you. I hope you have a great con.
Thank you so much. Absolutely.
Hey guys, I am here with Chris and Christian. How are you guys doing?
All right, how are you?
I'm doing good. So you guys want to tell us a little bit about your shop?
Yeah, so my shop is called Christa's Shop here. I deal with a lot of pop culture, Disney, magazines, 90s memorabilia, toys. We have a little bit of everything. Stuff from the 1940s to now, basically.
This is awesome. I love the Chucky, and there's a really cool Casper backpack that I've been eyeing. It's awesome.
Yep.
All right, so we do on our podcast, we talk about the first horror movie you ever watched. So Christian, you want to tell us a little bit about your first horror movie?
Okay. So, first, it was an episode of the original Goosebump TV show.
Yes.
And it was the one where, I believe it was Don't Go Into the Basement, or Stay Out of Basement, one of them.
Mhm.
And so someone brought it into school in tape, and I didn't finish watching it, and I begged my parents for the tape. And I was like, okay, no big deal. I'll start watching it because Christina's into it.
Mhm.
And I watched it alone by myself in my room. And I remember the second the hand came out and it showed the father's hand turning into the plant, I saw it and I screamed and I ran out of my bedroom and I never watched it again.
That's awesome.
But then since then I've seen other horror movies. Yeah, I was just a little kid then.
Right.
So, yeah.
So that's just kind of what got you into it.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it for me.
How about you, Chris?
So my first experience with horror movies was Child's Play.
Okay.
I had a babysitter who loved to torture me. I love her dearly. Hi, Kristen. But yeah, I was thinking about 4 or 5 years old, and we were sitting on the couch in her her house, and she put on Child's Play. And the moment I remember most is when Chucky rolls underneath the couch, because we were sitting on a couch, and immediately I put my feet up. And after that movie, I had a serious fear of dolls.
Okay.
For
Yeah.
a good portion of my life.
I feel like everybody that has seen Child's Play, their first horror movie, it's like they're like, I'm afraid of dolls.
I used to tie up a doll that my mother had, okay, and put it on a chair and tie it up in my playroom. And my mother, not thinking, would put it back in my room. So I was thinking it was escaping, in the middle of the night and coming back into my room. So yeah.
The trauma. The trauma.
Yeah,
you went through.
healthy fear of dolls.
Yes.
Since then I've been better, but yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you guys so much.
No
I hope
problem.
you
Thank
enjoy the
you.
rest of your weekend.
You as well.
Hey guys, I'm here with Eric. Eric, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about your vendor here?
Well, I am Eric Stevens of Comics and Killers Collectibles. We are here in beautiful, sunny, tropical Atlantic City, and I'm slinging toys and comics and oddities and shirts and all kinds of cool stuff.
Lots of cool stuff.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you. So what we do on our podcast, we ask people what their first horror movie was. Do you remember what your first horror movie was?
Ooh, my first memorable horror movie was Nosferatu, 1922.
Nice. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, my dad was a very big Universal Monsters guy. Showed me all the black and white stuff, Dracula with Bela Lugosi, Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
I love it. Yes.
All of that stuff. That's what I grew up on, and Nosferatu was probably the most memorable for me, and still it's my favorite horror movie that's not modern. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. My favorite is Frankenstein's Monster. I love that one.
That's a good one too.
Yeah. So
yeah, absolutely.
that's awesome.
Nothing creepier than black and white.
I know it definitely like just the scares and everything, and you just see the shadows. I just love everything about black and white.
It's so creepy.
Yes.
Thinking about it now, it's fantastic. So
Yeah.
good.
So did you have any like traumatic issues from watching that as a young kid?
Not Nosferatu. I just loved the whole noir, not noir, but the whole macabre aspect of it.
Yeah.
The movie that got me when I was younger was The Thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Spiderhead.
That
You gotta
it's
be fucking
creepy.
kidding
And the
me.
blood test made me almost
that
pee
was a
my
good one,
pants.
too.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
What is up, guys? We are here now with the amazing Steve Barton. Steve, how you doing, man?
I'm fucking amazing. You just said it. Did you get my nipple?
We got
Here's
the nipple.
this one too.
That's
Chair
double
leg.
nipple.
Chair leg.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you have any questions, you ask the nipples.
Yes.
Um,
My nipples talk. My nipples speak horror talk.
So here we do a lot of, on the podcast, we talk about the first horror movie people watched, what got them started in the horror
Oh
genre.
man,
Do you remember what the first horror movie you
I
watched
do.
was?
It's actually in my book. I have a book coming up, and I'm going to give you the answer. Don't think I'm just chilling. Damn it. The first horror movie I ever watched was Night of the Living Dead, and I saw it by accident.
Yes.
And it's a very funny story. It's way longer than we're going to do right now.
Right.
But that's what started me on my horror journey. And later, decades later, when everyone was like, oh, you may want to take up a hobby or a functional job. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do this shit.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm doing this shit. All right. And luckily, I was able to meet George, and George became my mentor along with Sid Haig. And now I'm part of the horror industry, and I'm very happy and humbled to be here talking to people like you and you guys at home, and my nipple right there.
Right. See, and that's the whole reason we came to New Jersey from Michigan, is we knew that
Michigan.
Steve's nipple was going to be here.
Both of them. Both of them.
We were expecting one. We did get both. So, so make sure you are following Steve on social media so you can stay up to date with all the amazing things he has coming up. Thank you so much, man.
My pleasure.
So if you guys have been following Sledgehammer Horror for any amount of time, you know how important this guy is to us here. We got Miguel Nunez Jr. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm blessed and highly favored. How about you?
Way better now. So you've been an inspiration on our channel since we've started.
Ooh, baby.
You guys know what's up. So one thing we do on our channel is we talk about the first horror movie people watched, what got them started in the genre. Do you remember what the first horror movie you watched was?
I think the first horror movie I watched was Night of the Living Dead.
What a popular choice, and what a great choice, because you, going back into the Return of the Living Dead, were able to go back and relive that. What's that feel like for you, looking back on some of the amazing things you've done in the horror genre and how you've become such a staple?
Well, when I first started getting into business, I came here, I ran away from home, everybody know. I ran away from home, went to California, lived in the streets, ate out of the trash, whole 9 yards. And the first thing I said was, I want to do horror movies. When I first got an agent, I want to do horror movies because horror movies was my favorite, still is. And I just happened to, the first thing I went on was Friday 13th, then Return of the Living Dead. Yeah. So it was really, then a connoisseur, lots of horror movies, Leprechaun. And so it just started it going.
Well, I mean, and you've done amazing things outside the horror genre, like Joanna Man, things that we grew up watching. And we see you in those and we're like, oh shit. We do the Leonardo DiCaprio. So we want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. And I hope you have an amazing experience this weekend.
Keep on doing what you guys, keep watching this show, y'all. You're going to get all the inside right here.
Thank you, sir. What is up, guys? I am here with the beautiful Fallon. Fallon, how you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing very well. For the people that don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
I do a lot of all of the things. So, acting, modeling, directing, if you want to call it that, producing, all of the artistic things.
And make sure you're following Fallon on social media as well. So one thing we like to do at Sledgehammer Horror is find out how horror started for people. So do you remember what your first horror movie was?
So the first horror movie that ever stuck out in my mind was 1988 movie Lady in White. I loved Lady in White so much. I don't know what that movie as a kid, obviously leading into Monster Squad and all that stuff, but the Lady in White was
A kidnapping story. This is a real life horror movie, and the kid acting in it is great. If you guys haven't seen The Lady in White, it is streaming for free on YouTube right now, so make sure you check it out. I have goosebumps
That's a great
because
fact.
nobody ever talks about The Lady in White, and that movie scared me so much. I've had reoccurring nightmares for a long time about a little girl in a white dress coming towards my car, and I think it's from
when I was a kid. Yeah, I could hear her singing the song, and she's walking down,
Yes.
and I would freak myself out. Or then if there was a thunderstorm and I was near a closet or something, or even going to school, I went to a Catholic school and we had closets that were so similar to that movie that after seeing it, I was like, I'm not going near there. Right. I know what happens if you're near that closet. So
that is a very deep cut. Make sure you guys check it out. It's an amazing movie. So thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing time at the rest of the con.
Thanks for talking to me.
Absolutely. What is up, guys? We are here with the beautiful Karen Parsons. Karen, how are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
So this is surreal for me. As someone who grew up as a huge fan of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I have to say thank you because you were a part of my childhood growing up. So sitting here with you is so amazing. But on the podcast, we always ask, what was the first horror movie that you watched? So what was the first horror movie for you?
Horror, I'm not exactly sure if this qualifies, but the movie that sticks with me, the scariest movie for me for a long time was The Omen.
See, and I'm totally going to say that's horror. I'm going to go...
For me, it was horror. For me, it was absolutely terrifying.
If you have a killer child that is the son of Satan, that is horror to me.
Yeah, that's pretty scary. That was... it was great. The music and that was, I think, if I just hear that music, that's enough to just send me. Everyone, The Exorcist was bad. Yes, it was. But something about The Omen, maybe it was the music, maybe it was the demonic child. But that was it for me.
See, and I am 100% with you. We just had the new movie, The First Omen. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see it. They've done so many different ones.
I think this tells the story of how Damien came to be. I think you would like to see this
Really?
one. Yes.
Okay,
It was really
I'll
good.
do it because that's all I need to hear. I'll go see it. Yes.
Well, thank you for taking some time to talk to us, and I hope you have an amazing rest of the con.
Thank you. Thanks, you too. Bye.
What is going on, guys? We are here with the legendary Danny Bonaduce. Danny, how you doing today?
I'm good, but I prefer iconic.
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 The legendary iconic
Danny
Bonaduce.
Damn.
Now we're giving you the hyphen, the legendary hyphen iconic. So this is such an honor to be here with you, sir. You've done a lot in the world, and you've a huge influence on a lot of people. And with us, horror is a huge influence. So I always want to know, do you remember the first horror movie that you ever watched?
I do indeed. It was Pit and the Pendulum with Vincent Price.
Oh, very nice. We're going Vincent Price, one of the kings of horror. So
I feel that's weird to have to explain, but my wife was sitting over there, that lovely Amy Bonaduce. I said, well, you know Vincent Price. Oh, different generation,
right.
Apparently.
13 Ghosts, House of Wax, Vincent Price.
I know. You run down the list, I'll tell you what I saw. House of Wax, saw it. Mm-hmm. What else?
13 Ghosts.
Saw it.
See, you got all these things. And Vincent Price, he was really a stage actor that did film.
See, I didn't really know that. I knew. And he was fighting with Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
And at that time, Vincent Price won. But then the Hobbit movies came out, and Christopher Lee made a huge comeback.
Dracula.
Yeah.
So, Danny, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us. We really appreciate it, and I hope you have an amazing weekend.
Me too, man. Pleasure meeting you. Good luck.
So, guys, we are here with the amazing and gigantic Quinton Aaron. Quinton, how you doing today?
What's going on? I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. So you guys may know him from the inspirational The Blind Side, the sweetest guy you could ever imagine. So what we do on our podcast, Q, is we talk to people about the first horror movie they watched and what it meant to them. Do you remember what the first horror movie you watched was?
Oh man, I grew up on the classics like Freddy Krueger, and that first of all that started my insomnia. Let's just go there, because the thought of somebody that can get you when you go to sleep, as a kid, I was like up all night, all the time, drinking coffee, taking notos. It was crazy. But like, man, The Gate, Poltergeist, all of them, man. Like Children of the Corn. I think it was so many that I grew up on. My brother was Chucky.
Oh man,
The original Child's Play. Like, and I learned how to do the voice just so I could creep him out. And oh man, it was just crazy.
Dude, that's amazing. And I'm so glad that we had the chance to come over here and meet you and talk about horror with you for a little bit. And I wish you nothing but the most success and hope you have an amazing rest of your time here at the con.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. What is going on, guys? I am here with Gabrielle and Chris. How you guys doing today?
We're good. How are you?
All right. Doing really well. So can you get a shot of this right here? This right here is the Real Maker.
Pretty cool.
So can you tell us a little bit about what this is and how you guys got started doing this?
Well, one day he just came home with the 360 booth, and he was like, "We're starting a business." So
pretty much showed up at home. This is what we're doing now. But we put ours in an inflatable, so it kind of sets us aside from the regular rigs that you see. And pretty much, if you get on there for $20, you get one gift, you get one photo, two videos, 2 photos, and we turn them into a gift. Yeah, we get a printout.
So, it's a lot of fun.
And we started out about a year ago, and our first gig was at the Liberty Science Center. They do an after dark party, and
we've just been branching off since then.
Right.
We're coming up in a year now. We're just upgrading everything, and
Congratulations! No,
I'm really lucky.
Look at this Batman stuff. Like, it's amazing.
we go to a lot of events like towns and fairs, so we come across like a lot of different things.
Okay, and where can people find you guys online?
It's LitPix 360 photo group on Instagram.
On Instagram, that's it.
Okay. Awesome. And now, as always, Sledgehammer Horror, we like to talk to people about the first horror movie they watched. So, do you guys remember what the first horror movie you watched was?
Yeah, mine was Nightmare on Elm Street, and I couldn't even get through the whole thing. I think once he went through the bed, I was like, turn it off, start screaming and everything.
Oh, what about you, Chris? Do you remember yours?
I think that's about right. Between the most impressionable, like the one that I really couldn't sleep after watching, had to be Nightmare on Elm Street. Another one was It, and then maybe Candyman.
Candyman, I still get scared. I don't like it when anyone says it. I'm like, don't say it. Like, I feel like it's too real for me.
And it's even worse just because of that voice. You know, So make sure you guys are checking out LitPix 360 on Instagram. We got it right up there, so you guys can check it out. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you guys here in a little bit.
Hey guys, I am here with the beautiful and amazing Taran Manning. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. So I just want to tell you that 13-year-old me is over the moon right now. I remember going and seeing Crossroads in theater when I was 13. I went and seen 8 Mile. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So here at Sledgehammer Horror, what we do is we ask people what their first horror movie was. So do you remember what yours was?
As far as horror movie goes, probably like Jason.
Okay.
I think, that scared the crap out of me. But one of the scariest movies for me growing up, because I watched every single one, to the point where like I wouldn't even like use the bathroom sometimes because I thought it was going to come up from in the toilet, was Jaws.
That's terrifying. So even like going out in the ocean, if I can't see the bottom, I'm done.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
There's no way, just because of that movie.
I know.
It's
So
insane.
yeah, you just imagine that those are actually kind of real. So
Yeah.
just Jaws got me good.
Yeah, it's like real life horror there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being a part of our podcast.
Okay.
Thank you.
What is up, guys? I am here with UFC legend Forrest Griffin. Forrest, how you doing today?
I'm great, thank you.
It is amazing to have you here looking at this, the world title, all these things you've done, the book that you've written. How's your trip been so far?
So far, so good.
Awesome. So we are Sledgehammer Horror, and what we like to do is talk to people about the first horror movie they watched and what it meant to them. Do you remember what your first horror movie was?
I don't, but I remember the movie that I saw when I was like maybe 11 was Jaws. And of course, my parents thought, we'll show it to him when he's at the beach. And I was scared to go in swimming pools for like a year after I saw Jaws. So my daughter's 12. I showed her Jaws, and it did not have the effect. She was not afraid. And then 6 months later, we actually go to the beach, and all of a sudden, she was afraid.
Yeah.
Like, so she watches the movie, she's just like, this is old, this is silly. She didn't like it at all. I was like, oh my God. But then it stuck in there somewhere. So I was happy that she was somewhat traumatized by the movie that traumatized me as a kid.
And that's what we're supposed to do as fathers. We're supposed to traumatize our kids.
You know, the world is hard. You got to toughen your kids up. You know, that's why I'm such a horrible parent, you know, from, you know, when my daughter gets to the real world, she'll be like, oh, okay, nothing's ever been easy. So
Right.
there you go.
Well, I do want to say
my mom messed up. She was way too soft on me.
Yeah. I can attest to that as well. I do again want to thank you, sir.
know my mom?
No.
What?
You are an amazing influence. Thank you for everything you've done. I hope you have an amazing time today.
I will. You guys too. Have fun.
Thank you.
Hey guys, so I am here with JM and all of his cool stuff. Can you tell us a little bit about you?
Oh, yeah, I'm a writer, artist, publisher. So, yeah, I do a lot of dark fantasy and horror work. I have my newest novel, The Kirkland Horror, about a plague that takes over a city. Very Lovecraftian.
Okay.
Yeah. And my dark fantasy series, Chadiana, has some horror elements in it too. That's why it's dark fantasy, but it's very South Asian based, wandering swordswoman, kind of Conan-esque, but
That's awesome.
a little different. Yeah.
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 So here at Sledgehammer Horror, we always ask everyone what was their first horror movie they watched, or something that is horror adjacent that traumatized you. Do you remember what yours is?
So I know what traumatized me, and I might know what my first was,
Yeah.
but they were not the same.
Okay.
So my first horror movie was either Creature from the Black Lagoon or
Good one.
The Invisible Man.
Okay.
But traumatizing me when I was a kid was seeing Count Orlok from Nosferatu.
Yes.
And now I've just become obsessed with it. Like, it's my favorite horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you excited for the new one that's coming out?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Us
I read an interview that Robert Eggers was a fan back when he did The Witch, and I was like, if he gets to do this will be good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking your time out to talk to me.
Awesome. Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you.
What is up, guys? I am here with Todd, the horror nerd. Todd, how you doing, man?
I am doing great. I'm having a blast this weekend.
It's been amazing. And watching you and the work ethic you do around the con has been really amazing, too. I have Todd's Instagram link down in the description, guys, so make sure you're going and checking him out. Great friend of ours that works his ass off on what he does. Now, in order to be the horror nerd, Todd, horror had to start for you somewhere, my friend. So can you tell us what the first horror movie you watched was?
I don't remember the first horror movie I watched, but I know the one that kicked off my love of horror is a movie called Dr. Terror's House of Horrors.
Okay.
It's an old British film starring Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing.
Sure.
And it was a horror anthology. And I just loved all the individual stories. And then, boom, I was hooked. I was like 8 years old, and I had a favorite aunt that would let me watch movies that my mother in 1,000 years would never let me watch. And that's what kicked it off, man. That was the movie.
Well, thank you for that, for your mother and your aunt, because we have you here now doing what you do. So, guys, like I said, make sure you're subscribing to him, following him on Instagram, so you can become a part of his family and see all the hard work he does. Todd, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, man. Thank you for your time, and have a great time this weekend.
You too, brother.
All right.
What is up, guys? It is time for some California dreams. I am here with the amazing Jay Anthony. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, man?
I'm doing a lot better now. This is amazing to be here with you guys. This is such an inspiration to a lot of different people. And watching, you guys were a lot of our childhoods growing up.
I appreciate that.
And so to be here with you guys now is super special. But as a horror podcast,
yeah,
I gotta ask, do you remember what the first horror movie you watched was?
I'm not sure I remember what the first one was, because back then, like, parents didn't really care what we watched. So I saw a lot of really crazy. Can I have cuss?
Absolutely.
I saw a lot of crazy shit as a kid. There was one I do remember, probably the first thing. I don't remember what it was, but there was this kid had a clown. There was a clown in the chair.
Poltergeist.
I think it was still a different one, but I was gonna bring up Poltergeist as well. Poltergeist. When I saw it as a kid, I'm not flappable, you know. Like I'm one of those people that I'm pretty even keeled no matter what happens. But that movie scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And it still does. Like I watched it the other day actually, and was just like, this is nuts. But yeah, Poltergeist would probably be like the biggest memory from my childhood. And then that Carrie Ann died.
Yeah.
The actual actress who played Carrie Ann died like pretty soon after. That was just kind of like, oh, okay, what's going on?
Right.
Supernatural forces at work. But
And it's funny to go back and think that movie is PG.
Right.
You know, you go back and think that this movie, which terrified all of us. I saw this movie
Right.
for the first time at like 2:00 in the afternoon on Fox 36 Toledo because it was a PG movie.
Right.
You know, and it's scarring us like that.
Right. And then I think that the other one that got me, only because I was like fascinated with dreams and dreaming and stuff like that, was Nightmare on Elm Street. That just, and I started actually, that made me actually start to try to train myself to dream what I wanted instead of being a victim. So I would actually like kind of meditate when I was a kid, and as I was sleeping, going, all right, I'm in control of my shit. I'm in control of my shit. I'm in control of my shit. I can figure it out. All right, if I dream something weird, I can figure it out. I can pull out you know, it was crazy. It was amazing what those movies did to us when we were younger. But yeah,
That's amazing, man. Thank you so much for taking the time
My
to hang out with
pleasure.
us. I hope you have an amazing time this weekend.
I appreciate it. You too, man. Thank you so much.
What is up, guys? I am here with the amazing William James Jones. William, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, brother?
I am a lot better now. You know, we're going to get the whole California Dreams panel, and it's amazing, like I was just talking about, what you guys did for our childhood, and you were really an uplifting thing. But with us being horror, you know, we got to talk about a little bit of horror. So on our podcast, we like to ask people about the first horror movie they watched. Do you remember what your first horror movie was?
Wow. Well, does The Shining constitute?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. I'm still recovering from that, so that would probably be it. But also, it helped me become a fan of actors because of Jack Nicholson. I thought he was just amazing, and the twins really freaked me out. So that would probably be the movie.
Yeah. And then obviously, rest in peace, Shelley Duvall, everything she went through on that set. And she was just such an amazing, uplifting, beautiful person. And the way that she took her licks and kept ticking on the set of that movie, it really makes you go back and appreciate what they were able to do with that film. So, and one of those scenes in that movie of Danny riding the tricycle, it's just such a scary, scary sight. I got you, man. I got you. So thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing rest of your weekend.
Thank you. All right, have fun.
What is up, guys? Still California dreaming here. We're here with the beautiful Kelly Packard. Kelly, how you doing
I'm
today?
good, thank you. How are you?
I am doing very well. I'm looking through all your pictures and stuff here on the table. This is so amazing to be here with you today. And it's nice to see that you're still as down to earth and sweet and kind as you are to everybody. We've watched you walk through the crowd and just say hello and shake hands with everybody that you've seen. And it's very rare to see that nowadays. So
That's unfortunate.
it is, but you are one of the genuine ones. So thank you. And as a horror podcast, we always want to talk horror. And our big thing is your first horror movie. So do you remember what the first horror movie you watched was?
I don't know that it was my first necessarily, but I insisted on laying out on the couch. I had to have been 7 with my mom while she watched Exorcist. And she had me, she thought I was asleep, right? Head in her lap, and I'm watching it. I'm traumatized to this day. To this day.
It's funny because we've talked about on the podcast before the difference between watching a movie as a child versus watching it as an adult and a parent.
Yes.
And you watch The Exorcist as a child, and especially as a young lady,
Yes.
you look at that movie through the eyes of Reagan. You know?
Yes.
As a father now, I look at that movie through the eyes of a parent. And one of the saddest scenes in that movie is when Reagan's on the bed and you see "Help Me" on her stomach.
Yes.
So you know that your little girl is still in there.
Right?
You know, and watching it as a little boy, I didn't understand a lot of the the crucifix. I didn't get that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But as a young lady, I'm sure this movie was a lot more traumatizing to watch because you relate more with Reagan and what she's going through.
Well, and I wasn't watching it or paying attention as much as seeing all the things that just stayed with me to this day, which is really amazing that something can be so impactful.
When a movie can do that, you know that it's a piece of art that will live forever.
That will live forever, yes.
So thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a great rest of your trip.
I sure will. Thank you.
All right, guys, we are now here with the amazing Brentley Gore. Brentley, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you today?
Doing so well. Meeting all of you guys from California Dreams has been so amazing. You guys were such an influence on our childhoods, and to be able to meet you and see how kind and sweet you all are with your time is amazing. And as a horror podcast, we like to talk to people about the first horror movie they watched. However, before we do that, you have a pretty cool story that ties into a pretty infamous horror movie. So I'd like to hear about that first.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about that because that's one of my best friends. So I was in a band called King Straggler with one of my best friends from LA. His name's Rodney Eastman. You know who Rodney Eastman is? Great dude, great actor, and he was in Nightmare on Elm Street 1. I mean, so the original. So the original, Nightmare on Elm Street is pretty classic and a heavy load there. I mean, that kicked off so much stuff.
One of the movies that I would really consider to be a psychological slasher. If
Yeah.
someone wants to tell me it's a psychological horror, I'll buy it.
Good point.
If someone wants to tell me it's a slasher film, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the idea of someone coming to you in your dreams and taking you over in your dreams.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell is more psychological and scary than that?
That's right.
Because
it's so tangible. It's like that can actually happen. And I think with the horror, it's like as close as you can get to the reality of things, that's when your fear is going to go up, right?
And what's scarier than, you can't run away from this guy.
Yeah.
You can't not
Yeah,
sleep.
that's right.
So, but we did talk a little bit about the first horror movie you did watch. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, Mike Myers was pretty much the, in my dreams. But look, I'm going to go back even further, okay, you guys? Okay. When I was a kid and I saw The Wicked Witch and The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
You've heard this before?
Dude, I'm telling you, like the Wicked Witch.
That was my most
those
horrifying,
monkeys too.
That was my most horrifying childhood film experience.
Yeah.
But because that was really the original fear that I had. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
As a kid.
We talked about that. We talked about Willy Wonka, the tunnel scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Large Marge.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
And to me, horror is what you make it. If something scares you
Yeah.
and it really sticks with you, what's more
Yeah.
horrific than that?
Yeah.
And
what was the film in the woods where they just had a handheld camera?
Oh, the Blair Witch Project.
Blair Witch. That was another really pivotal, I think, film for just being like an independent film that, I thought that they did a really good job of fear there,
The marketing for that movie will never be matched. We didn't know if this was real or not.
Yeah.
We didn't have Google in our pockets at the time.
That's right. That's a good point.
So, they didn't use big name actors. They used their real names in the film. They
Oh.
didn't have an opening credit scene.
Yeah.
It was just, we're starting, here we go, the movie's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, a marketing that will never be matched.
Yeah, amazing. And there you go with the reality getting into your head, and is it real? Is it not? So, I'd say those are pretty pivotal, films for me.
I think that they're pivotal in the horror community in general, man.
Oh,
So,
nice, man.
Brentley, thank you for your time. And also, guys, check it out. We have some records here. Make sure you are checking him out. So he is still rocking out to this day, still living his best life, and we appreciate him for that. So thank you so much for your time, man.
Check it out. Thank you, guys.
What is up, guys? We are on the last stop of our California Dreams tour here, and we're here with the amazing Aaron Jackson. Aaron, how you doing?
I'm fantastic, brother. How are you?
I'm doing very well. And our horror friends, you may know Aaron from Children of the Corn 5. So, being in horror, being in California Dreams, two completely different ends of the spectrum. But the fandom, what I've learned this weekend especially, we've seen people with California Dreams tattoos, which somebody else is about to get one of those.
I'm getting one today. We're getting the logo right here. That's the plan.
I can't wait, dude. That's so amazing. I'm so happy for you. And to know that you've touched that many lives. And, horror is the same way. Once you're a horror fan, you love the genre and you do everything you can to be around the genre. And for you to be in Children of the Corn 5 and to have that pivotal of a role, I got to know, man. Do you remember what your first horror movie was that got you started in the genre?
It was Friday the 13th. Like, that was literally the first one that I watched. And I remember, I don't know what year it was, but you would know. What year did Friday the 13th?
1980.
Okay, so 80. So I was seven years old when it came out. And my old man was like, "You're going to watch this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Dad, let's do this." And he goes, There's no fucking way. And I quote, "There's no fucking way." And I'm like, so I watched this, and I'm that little kid. Like, the covers are up like this. I'm like, so I'm trying to cover my head, but I'm like, no, I want to see. No, I don't. So I did that. And then I always told my daddy, I'm like, because the dream was, what are you going to do in life? I'm like, to be an actor, right? He goes, but what's your backup plan to being an actor? I'm like, I'm going to be an actor. And he goes, no, you have to have a backup plan. I'm like, I'm going to become a plumber and fucking help everybody else flush their dreams down the toilet kind of thing, right? So then I'm like, so I'm gonna do horror films. Like, that's what I'm gonna do, because it's like, I don't have to be a good actor. I just got to be able to, maybe slash somebody. And my dad's like, you're not doing horror films, son. Like, that's just not gonna be a career for you. So then I ended up following through with my career to be, a cheesy, no disrespect, I love my show, but cheesy Saturday morning sitcom type stuff. So then afterwards, to get to do my first horror, which was Children of the Corn, was brilliant. Fear, like I can't even tell you the fear in which I had on doing this film, which I'm sure you might ask questions about. So I'm going to hold back on that one. But there's some great fear behind my stories of Children of the Corn.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, having such a pivotal moment in such a franchise that is still going to this day, you know, so like you are an icon in the horror genre and started with Stephen King's Children of the Corn, which gets put into a film, it moves on, and then here you are now. Do you still get a lot of people that talk to you about Children of the Corn on top of California Dreams?
I actually get more on Children of the Corn than I do on Dreams, to be fair. Just because Dreams had a broad following, but it was like that 7 to 14-year-olds, right? And then now those 7 to 14-year-olds are the 40 to 55-year-olds now. But Corn, like it was everybody, and it was such a huge monster film when it first came out. And then they brought out 2, which, you know, I think every sequel to any horror film, it's gonna fail in comparison. It really is. And then they brought out 3, which kind of elevated. Then they brought out 4, and it kind of went south, right? So then they brought out 5, and they hired this like amazing cast, not because I was in it, but they get this beautiful young lady by the name of Eva Mendes, right? And you get Greg Vaughn, like, and he goes on to be on GH, and then you get, you know, Fred Williamson, like iconic, right? And I got to tell you a story about Fred too, because this is classic. Yeah. So I get cast in this film, and I just come off Dreams, you know, and I was this brown-haired, you know, all-American kid, and they're like, Alexis Arquette and I look so similar. They're like, we have to change your look because Alexis is going to play like the hero, and we need you to be like that true villain. And I'm like, let's go platinum.
Yeah.
So they dyed my hair platinum, and like I had the luscious locks.
So the going platinum was your idea?
That was my idea. That was my thing. Because they're like, we have to change you, and they didn't want to show tattoos. They just wanted like this menacing. So I was like, well, let's go platinum. And my agent was like, you're done for a while. You realize this, like you're not gonna be able to work for a long time because that you're gonna shave your head. So I get cast, providing that they say platinum. So they said yes to that. So I'm on set my first day, and we're filming in Camarillo. And the first scene that we shot was the one me coming like through some corn, like as they're passing the street. That was shot at night, right? I don't know if you've ever been in a cornfield at night.
We're from Michigan. Yes. Okay. Yes, we have.
Dude, so they're doing, dude, this still scares the shit out of me. They're doing an aerial, and they got this crane, and they want me to come through the corn, and they want to see it rustling through, and they're using a 2K light on us, and they want it to come through like this. And they know that I'm like a 5-year-old girl, like wearing a diaper doing this because I'm scared shitless. So they're doing this aerial shot. So one of my producers thought it'd be funny to be in the corn and like grab my ankle. So take one, dude, me screaming high falsetto bitch running through the corn. Yeah.
There's our platinum bitch running through the corn.
Running through the corn. So now, so we're filming the picture, and our director, I was doing the scene with Eva, and it was like my biggest scene in the film, and I'm telling her that, you know, that he who walks behind the rose kind of thing, and trying to get her to be the sacrifice. And after she left, like, as an actor, you're waiting for the word cut. You don't hear cut, you keep acting. So I go back to like petting my pony or whatever that thing was. There was a Shetland pony. They shot it at such a weird angle to make it look big. It wasn't. It was a little pony. But I'm the average height and weight of a 5th grader, so it didn't matter. So I'm petting this thing, and I look down, and they didn't hear cut. So I just like came up, and I gave this like menacing look at her, like with a shit-eating grin. And the director was like, "Cut! Oh my God, Aaron, that was fantastic. It was amazing." I was only supposed to be on the film for like 9 days.
Yeah.
He ended up just keeping me on for the whole run because anytime they could put that menacing look, like peering through the corn or peering through a curtain, looking through a window. So I ended up picking like 11 more days up on that film just because of like being menacing.
Happy accidents.
Right? And it was fantastic. Yeah.
I mean, we look at Jaws. You're going to need a bigger boat. Yeah. You know, these things that happen on set that go, yep,
that works.
we need that. We need that.
And I learned when I was young, you don't cut until you hear it.
Right.
Like, all right, cool. And I got more money out of it.
Well, there you go.
It's a win-win, you know?
Well, dude, again, I want to thank you so much for joining us. It's been amazing to meet all of you guys and the influence you've had on us and just how sweet and kind and generous you all are with your time. We really appreciate you. Hope you have a great rest of your
Yeah,
con.
you too, man. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, we are now here with the amazing Tim Harris. Tim, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. So we wanted to talk to you because of these amazing creations you make as well.
Not all horror. We have some amazing sports. We have some Goonies. What gave you the inspiration to start doing this?
Going to Comic-Cons as an attendee and loving movies and stuff like that.
And where can people find you online?
Metal Devil Art on Instagram and Metal Devil Art on Facebook.
Okay. And like I said, some of these, the detail that comes in. You have the swimming up here, Texas Chainsaw, the amazing dance at the end. But in order to do all these amazing things that have to do with horror, it had to start from you somewhere. So do you remember what your first horror movie was?
The first one that got me into horror was Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
What a great start to a horror life, because still one of the most iconic movies, in my opinion, the Scream Queen.
He lying his ass off.
That being Miguel.
Right. And we just got a video bombed by Miguel Nunez. Ooh, baby, I would never be upset about that. But again, Texas Chainsaw, one of those movies that the dinner scene alone is enough to stick with you throughout your whole life.
Yeah, the watched it when I was later, like 18, 19 or whatever, so it got me into a spot of being like gore and like watching horror movies. And it was the, I actually got to go to the house and see all of the cool stuff inside.
And you being from Texas, that probably had a little bit more of why.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's amazing. So make sure you guys are following him on Instagram. Check out his amazing creations. I promise you they are amazing, even better in person than on video. So make sure you're checking those out. Man, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What is up, guys? I am here with Al of Vampires of New Jersey and more. How you doing, man?
Good. Very good. Glad to be here.
No, I'm very excited to have you here. So as you can see, he does a lot of the writing, all of the writing, and all of the publishing as well. Yep. So what got you interested in starting comic books?
Well, my first con was in '78, so I was literally one of those guys. We would talk and we'd say, "You think girls will ever come to these?" And nah, chicks will never come to these. And now we live in this world.
Right.
Originally, I did film. About 20 years ago, I started a production company. I had films on Amazon that streamed. This is one of my scripts, Vampires in New Jersey. And it's vampires versus the mob. It's like True Blood versus Sopranos.
Yeah.
And I posted the idea online. The guy who drew Silver Surfer for Marvel liked it, and he helped me out with the artwork.
That's amazing. And you guys can see the quality of what the illustrations and stuff are here. So, vampires, very horror. So in order to start with vampires and do that, horror had to start for you somewhere.
Yeah.
So we like to talk about the first horror movie people watched on our podcast. Do you remember what your first horror movie was?
I'm trying to think back. I mean, you're always discovering like movies on, because I'm an older guy, so in the early '80s on Skinamax or whatever, you discover some old movie. I'd probably say one that sticks with me is Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D.
Friday the 13th 3D, my wife's favorite Friday the 13th film.
Yeah, because it was a good date movie.
Right.
And it was super weird because when he had the eyeball and he was going like that and stuff, I mean, it was great.
Even Jason at the end with
Yeah.
with the axe in his head. So amazing start to your horror life, guys. And where can people find you online?
Vampires of NJ on Instagram, Vampires of New Jersey on Facebook.
All right, so make sure you guys are checking this out. Like I said, the quality of these in person is so amazing. I don't know if it's going to go through over the video, but in person, this stuff looks fucking amazing. So, Al, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
What is up, guys? I am now here with Phil Kane, the always amazing, multi-talented. You may know him from Squid Game or his amazing band 6 Ways to Saturday. So how you doing today, man? How's the con been treating you?
Listen, I'm straight chilling. It's been a beautiful day. I've met a lot of interesting people, and happy to be here in warm, sunny Atlantic City.
He told us before that Sledgehammer Horror was his favorite, so I just wanted to throw that out there to everybody else.
I have heard of that and know what that is.
So I just want to say to everybody, it's amazing to have him here. And obviously Squid Game was a huge thing that happened here. And, the things that have come from Squid Game for you guys, but very horror adjacent.
Yeah.
So we like to talk about horror movies on the podcast. So do you remember what your first horror movie was?
My first horror movie was It, the original version. I watched it when I was 12 at my buddy Connor's place, and then I couldn't sleep for several years.
It always happens with either a friend or an older sibling.
Yeah, he was older. Yeah, he was 2 years older.
That's where it always starts at, man.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys are checking out 6 Ways to Saturday. You got amazing merch here. You see the clothing back here. Make sure you're checking that out, becoming a part of that family. Rocking it here, too. So thank you so much, man. We appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys, so we are wrapping up here in Atlantic City. We've had a great time.
Thank you, Tim and Brandon, for putting this on. Thank you to all the volunteers, everybody that was running the show. We had a very good time, met a lot of great people. So thank you so much, guys, for all the hard work that you did. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Our links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror.
Stay who you are.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.